Good morning, 10th grade. I'm sure you're waiting on this video. This is Friday morning and I'm just putting it on and it's 8:15, so yeah, sorry about that. Yesterday my iPad went bad and I couldn't video yesterday evening. Now I got a new one this morning, so maybe this will make it go much faster. I don't know, hope so. Backing up here to where I stopped the other day, and I was lost on page 18, and one of you called me and told me how to do this, and that was great. I hadn't had time to look at it yet, but your information was helpful, so much honor to you. On 179, on page 18, is where I will start. The first one, I put that one on the board for you, and then I showed you how the steps were worked out. Now I'll go to 179 and we'll talk about it. So what you have to do is you have your y -2, and then you have your 2 -1. So what you bring that over here, the way I did it, is you have your y -2, and you need to bring the 2 over here to this side of the equal sign. And that means you have a -1, and now you bring him over here, he becomes a +2. So you combine these two guys here, -1 and a -1 and a +2 equals with 1 positive. So yeah, your y equals 1. Yeah, you set it up like this here first with your y, even though the y it's a blank answer in your book, you just put y in them. And then your slope is -1 and work it out. Yeah, just go down to the next part. It is very similar, like 184. You are to find out if the line on the graph goes upright or if it goes horizontal. I should have said vertical or horizontal, or if it's on a slope. And so if I can just give you a quick rundown of how to do that. Work them out the same way as you did these. Put your 4 on top. If you look, you have 184 is 2.1, 2 and 1, 3 and 4. So put your 1 and 2 and your 3 and your 4. This is your y's, these are your x's, and subtract them from each other. So you have 3 over 1, and so your slope is 3. Well, that means the slope is going on a 3, and that is not an upright, that's not a vertical nor horizontal. So you write neither. You don't need to put the 3 down, but you have to do this figuring to come out to that. I did 1.86 on page 18, and again your numbers were 5 and 2, 7 and 2. So I put the 5 and 2 and the 7 and 2, and I subtracted them, and I come up with a 0 and 2. So when you come up with a 0 in the y-axis, if you would be mapping that one out, you would have 0 on the y-axis and the 2 on the x-axis. So that would be a straight line that would be horizontal. If you come up with a 0 on top, you'll have a horizontal. And I didn't do any of the others, but if you keep working them, when you come up with a 0 on the bottom, then you have a vertical. Okay? So when you figure these out, any of them that well, like here, there were no zeros, so it's neither. But here, when you had the 0, the top one in your y-axis makes it a horizontal line. And if you get a 0 in your x bracket, That's a vertical. If you have any questions, call me on that part. On the bottom of page 18, top of 19, you'll just have to graph those and see if they are correct, that you can make a straight line or a straight slope, however it comes out. If you can't, then you write no. If you can make it, the 3 points line up, you say yes. Okay, on the next part, you have the examples on 19 and on 20 of how to do the next part. I will show you, let's see, on 198, you're supposed to turn back to the problems you did 1.54, and you figured that problem out in 154, and you said your slope was 1. So I had to go back to 154 to get the slope. Oh yes, I'm doing 198 on page 21. Okay, you went back and your slope was 1 on that first problem, and so I just substituted. You could substitute anything you wanted, but I substituted zeros because, well, that's the easiest to figure. Don't tell anybody. So I substituted zeros. I have y -0, and my slope was 1. And then you put in parentheses your x -0. And this is like your first example on page 19. Okay, now watch what I did here. I put x, I put my x, this is 0 would have come here, and this 0 would have went over here to the y. So I was eliminating this. I had took away the parentheses. I went 1 times x is 1x, and 1 times 0, that's 0. So I come up with this. Now I brought this 0 over to this side, so 0 from 0, nothing. And so if you just keep dropping this down, you move the 0 over, so you have y equals x. Drop the 1 off. Did I go too fast? Well, hang on, no problem. I'm going to do 1.11, and this is exactly the same way, but instead of working with zeros, I have numbers, so they work out. So on 1.11, you have the 1 and 3, and then they have already solved this step back here. So they just give you two numbers, 1 and 3, and then your slope is 2. So you have, this is your y, and this is your x. So you drop down here, and you have y subtract 3, and then you have your 2, your slope, and then you have your x subtract 1, and you put this in parentheses. You have to put this in parentheses because of your slope being here in front. So you see what I did? This in here, 3 went here, this 1 went here, and I'm subtracting them. The y is here, the x is here. Now the next step was 2 times x. 2 made you 2x, and then I got rid of the parentheses is what I did. I just eliminated the parentheses. Now you go 2 times -1 makes you -2. Okay, so I have solved the parentheses, and I've actually combined these is what I've done. Now I come over here to the y side, and I have -3. You need to move this here over to this side here. I made a little dotted line, dot, 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 dot. You know, whenever you cross the equal sign, you have to change the sign. So I see a +3 now. Instead of a -3, I have a +3. So I combine these. I can combine these. Positive and a -2 makes me a +1. And then I just bring this 2x straight down. So I have isolated the y now. So the y equals 2x plus 1. They may be a little bit confusing. Look on your graph. Once you get started in doing these, they're very easy and simple. So yeah, if you get stuck with them, call me. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to do one more yet. I just about told you go. I was going to do one more. I have to move over so you can see it. There we go. I am going to do 1.1 1, 2, 5, and I don't know which page that is. Well, it's not important. You look it up, 1.125. You have two numbers. You have 6 and 1, 5 and 4. So now you have to refer way back to the beginning whenever I started with that, and you have to put them, the y's and the x's, and subtract them, eliminate them down, and find your slope. Okay, so see, I put the 1 here, the 6 here. I put the 4 here, the 5 here. You've done those a bunch of times already, so you know how to set up your 2 when you have 2 of them. Now you combine them, subtract 1 from 4 is 3, and 6 from 5 makes you -1, and so you turn this -1 into -3 as your slope. You had to do this. Now we're going to refer back to this problem right here. You're going to start and do the same thing. Your slope is 3, and you're going to use the 1 and 6. So, okay, are you ready? We put the -1 here, the -6 here. My slope, I put the 3 here. So I've got my equal sign here in the middle. Y equals -1. And I don't know why I put that there. I should have just done like this here. And now I have the -3 times 6 is, times x is -3x, and 3 times 6 is 18. They are negative, so it makes me a positive. Watch that. Whenever you go doing that, watch your positive, negative signs when you multiply. Now I drop down to here. Y subtract 1. Guess what? I bring the 1 over here to my 18 because I come across, he's a positive. So 1 positive, you can't see him here, I didn't put him down. 1 positive plus 18 equals 19 positive. And the 3 negative I brought down, I've got the I isolated. This is your answer. Right there is your answer for 1.125. You just had to do 2 steps there. So the problems are going to take you a little longer on this part, but you're going to just simply combine the 2 ways that you work. You first have to find your slope, and then you find the slope-intercept formula. Yeah. You have a good one. Somebody's calling me right now. It must be you calling me to see where the video is. Have a good one.